first frame, Jack Lisowski to break.
Joining me in the commentary box for this one is the former English amateur champion and now doing well as a pro, Stephen Hallworth.
Good match this, isn't it? Jack Lisowski, Liam Highfield, two attacking players, as you say. Looking forward to this one. Jack goes for his shots, we know that. Liam Highfield has played well in patches today, but he's also made a few uncharacteristic errors. But he hasn't been punished, and that's the difference. So I think this match will be a proper test for both. Both players will be well aware of the permutations regarding the group table. And as so often these groups conclude, this group will be decided between seeds 1 and 2.
Head-to-head wise, you've got to fancy Lisowski. They've played 6 times as pros. Lisowski's won 5 of them, including last season's British Open. 4-3 in the first round he won. Made a 72 break in the decider.
Yeah, they'll be well familiar with one another's games, won't they? Both 35 years old, both turned professional in 2010, would have grown up together on the amateur circuit, coming through the ranks to the professional tour. And I'm sure that Liam Highfield will look at Jack Lisowski as somebody that he can take great positives from himself and inspiration over the past couple of months. If he can do it, why not me? Particularly that run to the Northern Ireland Open title, Phil. What an emotional evening that was for everyone. And if that wasn't enough to get the burners going, then I don't know what will.
Liam Highfield 4.
You know, that's an interesting shot selection, isn't it, from Jack Lisowski, showing the utmost respect there. Liam almost asked the question of Jack to play safe off the main bunch, but there was every chance that in catching it thick, he could have done the frame. It's nice to see Jack taking the time to think clearly, think properly out there.
Well, I think this tournament represents a really good chance for him. World number 17, so to bridge the gap with the elite top 16, collecting first prize here would go down well. But you've got to be in it to win it, and that means you've got to top your group. First time these two played was 15 years ago in the Welsh Open. Lisowski won 4-1. When I say first time they played each other, first time as pros. Highfield has beat Lisowski though. 4-2, first round of the Indian Open in 2013.
Nice safety shot, sending that cue ball left of baulk. That's trying to force Jack down this left side, and well, that's where he doesn't want to go. Just look at the danger, look at the obstacles via that route. So what can he do? At first glance, not a lot. That's why he's just tried to play a shot, any shot, contain it.
Players on both tables here linked. Lisowski's first taste of the big time, if you like, playing in the final of Junior Pod Black at the Crucible in 2007. And he lost to Mitchell Mann, who's currently battling away on table 2. In the qualifiers here last month, he felt the full power of Chang Bing-yu. Beat Zhu Yichen first up in the China Open 6-4, then lost 6-1 to Chang. And I had to, when I was doing research on this, just check and check and check this. Chang, in that match, bear in mind 7 frames, made a big century, 1-3-2, and 8 other breaks, over 50.
Yeah, I remember it. I was playing at a similar time, I think, and I went up to the players' lounge to see the result. We might have even been on the interval by the time that game finished. It was rapid. Absolute barrage of heavy scoring from Chang Bing-yu. He's some player, isn't he?
He really is. And then Lisowski was whitewashed in the Wuhan Open qualifiers by Yao Peng Cheng, who had a couple of centuries and 3 half centuries himself. So today, I think, was made more important by those poor starts to the season.
He took his tip off at the interval against Yao Peng Cheng. Didn't see it, but I heard it behind the curtain. He was making a right racket in the players' lounge. But it's good to see that he's resolved his tip issues, and the equipment looks to be in fine fettle now.
Green ball. Lisowski 1.
Nice shot, that. I agree with you, Stephen. We want to see him play cavalier, attacking snooker all the time, but sometimes needs must. Batten down the hatches when you have to. And I think his good friend Judd Trump has discovered for many years now that the more you play effective safety, the more scoring chances you get.
Yeah, and he needs that side to his game. He needs a more measured approach. If you look at the top players in terms of the consistency of getting to the latter stages of big tournaments, to do that, you have to have that side. You can't just keep attacking and keep potting your way out of trouble. It just doesn't work that way.
Only miss. Jack Lisowski 4.
And look, at the end of the day, it's Jack's decision, isn't it? It's a fine line between enjoyment of playing snooker and how much do you want to win in your career. You can't fault his approach. We love his approach. But only he will know what he really wants out of the game.
Yeah, he's a bit like a golfer who hits driver off every tee, who goes for even the most treacherous of pins. One day shoots 65, the next 80.
So third attempt for Liam to two-cushion glance off the reds by the pink spot. Fancy him to probably miss this again, you know, because he doesn't want to catch it too thick. Err on the side of caution. He's getting closer. It's one of those you just can't bring yourself to make that little extra adjustment.
Yeah, almost identical to the first attempt. The brown was moved slightly more with his second escape try.
It's funny because the snooker player's mindset here is you'd rather give away 60 points than hit this red too thick, which sounds crazy.
Well, look at the record for most consecutive misses. Stuart Bingham, 16. So he would have given away in that sequence a minimum of 64 points, actually. And he went on to win the frame anyway.
There you go. There's method in the madness. It's funny because you might hit the reds thick and not leave anything anyway, but of course that's just down to chance. If you get the thin edge, you're guaranteed a good cue ball with very little damage to the reds. Just like that. They'd be happy enough with that. If we're being ultra picky, marginally thick.
Yeah, but the penalty points really, as you say, Stephen, pale into insignificance against the loss if you plump Lisowski right in amongst the reds. It's an acceptable trade-off. The big group decider on table 2. Group 31 is underway. Aaron Hill against Luca Bracel. Hill, no room for manoeuvre, no leeway. Has to win 3-0. Nothing else will do. If he doesn't win 3-0, Bracel is the table topper. Well, the introduction to this match has been a little more tactical than I imagined it would be. Now, though, Lisowski has half a chance. Not a great one because of the awkwardness of pink and black.
I love seeing a tactical duel between two attacking players. Just gives us an insight to the other side of the game. What have they got? It's quite refreshing. Gets quite tedious, Phil, watching the lads just knock them in off the lampshades. And both of these players today, having spoken to them, have recognised that these Rasson tables this season are playing on the nippy side. That was very quickly identified this morning.
12.
So heavy scoring from the off seemed unlikely.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see whether they play so tight when we return here to the Mattioli Arena in Leicester in November for the Champion of Champions. By the way, told you that Hill and Bracel have started.
Lisowski 12.
The reason for that, making way. Mitchell Mann beating Deng Haohui 3-1. Mann breaks of 65 and 78 in that win.
6.
Would have liked that cue ball back a touch further and have been straighter on this pink to right middle. There'll be birdie in the pink in. Doesn't need to do anything else. There's reds waiting. And I must say the pockets on the tables we know are tighter, but the middles are not. Not on these Rassons. They're quite generous, in fact. The middles on the Rassons in comparison to the stars are a lot bigger.
13.
But the corner pockets have caught up.
The pressure point for Highfield so far today was his second match. It was a very drawn-out affair against Jack Bradford. But he toiled away to a 3-1 win. At times, I thought he was going to become a victim to frustration.
Yeah, me too, actually. I thought there was going to be some serious head loss from Liam Highfield. He kept it in just about, didn't he?
Right.
I think had he have been punished more for his mistakes, we might have seen it.
Yes, it was a really scrappy match, that. But in his first match today against Zhao Hanyang, I thought he looked good, sharp. He made breaks of 89 and 98.
So these are the last two of the properly open reds on this table before that cue ball control is going to be tested a little further. The two wing reds, the one that's just beneath the cue ball now and the one on the right side of the table, they're not too bad to access. For those reds, you'd probably like the cue ball somewhere on either side cushion. That way you've got a couple of pockets to land on it into. Yeah, pretty much where he just pointed his cue. He's got the angle on the pink to do that, whether he can drop it there or just stun run the cue ball through the gap. Yeah, it was perfect to just float it. Nicely played. Nice angle now on this blue to again just float it. Two cushions to that right side rail. And again, big target to land on either corner or middle pocket.
47.
So this is the key shot now. spotting this red and getting a nice angle on his next colour to do something with those two.
The angle he craved is not there. It's been a good break, mind you. Very good.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's any good where he's landed. The blue would have been perfect topside. Lovely angle from there into the reds.
So sacrifices an almost certain 5 points in favour of a telling safety, although it could have been more telling than that. Also, he wanted to put the blue safe because he's 23 in front.
Yeah, it was good thinking from Liam to chip the blue safe. There was absolutely no value in taking the points. And in a way, it was quite clever to leave Jack sight at the reds, just force him to play safe off them, potentially get it wrong, but he's got it right. It might have just forced Liam into taking this red on.
I've seen Highfield's long game better than it's been today, actually. He's missed quite a few by quite some way.
Yeah, it's funny because I agree, but on the practice table a few moments ago, he was not missing a long one. Oh, good grief. How well has he hit that? Well, that is a tremendous piece of ball striking from Jack Lisowski from pretty much underneath the baulk rail. Look at this. Oh, stop it.
Well, he sees value in this little tuck up behind the blue, does he? Well, the tuck up behind the brown? Because by doing that, he gets the blue in open play, and he's the one who's chasing. So Highfield now well aware he'll have to mind his P's and Q's. The table a lot more agreeable for Lisowski than it was a few moments ago.
Fall. Yes. Check Lisowski fall.
Well, Highfield remaining in place because he knows full well the cue ball's going to be replaced and the miss is going to be taken. The brown wasn't there. The brown was in the open, wasn't it?
Yeah, it has to have been because the cue balls, it was well more off the cushion than that. He's caught the back side of the brown, the back right of the brown, and that's why the cue ball has gone across the table. Yeah, Liam's bang on the money here. He's hit it from behind. It has to have been off the cushion.
Yeah, I think it was about that. I don't think it was that tight. It wasn't any tighter than that, was it?
Yeah, there was no other. The brown was on the ball cushion because we were saying that Lisowski, if he gets in, has the chance to clear. And if the brown had been on the ball cushion, clearly that would have been a a real detriment to his chances of doing so. Well, he's left the red in mid-table, but these shots are never appetising, especially with the cue ball so close to the side cushion. Yeah, I'm not surprised he missed that. The effective end of the group could be nigh on table 2. Remember, Luca Brecel only needs a single frame to top the table.
Spider?
Aaron Hill scored 69 points in this frame, but it's not going to be enough, it seems. Brown, blue, pink and black, all in conventional spots. And if he knocks those in,
25.
Brecel will advance to the last 32.
30.
Well, he didn't play brown to blue very well, and subsequently didn't play blue to pink very well. And he's not played that very well, but he's been incredibly fortunate.
36.
What a flick. That's a $4 flick, Phil.
Indeed it is.
3 in frame.
He's won 3,000 for this group and another 1,000 guaranteed for being in the second phase. Luca Brecel not had the best of starts to the season, but things are looking up. Aaron Hill, I'm afraid, knocked out of contention for the group.
Yeah, he's not had the best of starts to the season, Luca, but he's lost to some good players, hasn't he, Phil?
Okay, yeah. Tell us the score.
No, I'm not going to flatter you.
What I can tell you is that the Group 31 winner, Luca Brecel, goes into Group B in the next phase to take on Ian Burns, Pang Junzhu and Hossein Vafai. By the way, if you're wondering what we're talking about with Luca Brecel, Stephen Hallworth beat him 5-1 in the qualifiers last month.
I've watched that much snooker, Phil, sat alongside you guys in the commentary box, that I've finally figured out how to play the game.
Well, in all seriousness, is it a help?
Massively. It's helped me no end, you know, over the last couple of seasons. I think more so the year I was off the tour, because I was competing on the Q Tour, and it's very, very easy to get wrapped up in that, I hate to say it, amateur mindset. But the commentating allowed me to keep in touch with the top of the game and consistently watch the top players and see how they operate, and it definitely helped me get back on the tour. And, you know, it means I'm watching more snooker than ever, which is a good thing for me. I'm not one of these people that would practice all day down the club and go home and put the snooker on telly. You know, I've got a life, I've got a family, a house, and, you know, a lot of other interests. So, yeah, it keeps me in touch with the game.
I think one thing it makes you realise is that you don't have to play perfect.
It's very true. Very, very true. You know, you look at the top players and you just think they're there because they never miss. But they do miss. They do make mistakes. And if you put them under pressure, everyone is susceptible. Whereas before, the top players almost had this bubble of invincibility around them as far as I was concerned, whereas now I'm not really too scared by them. Of course, they're still tough to beat. You've still got to play well.
Yeah, other lessons learned from commentary, Stephen. Don't be too defensive. Don't be too slow. And I think one of the specific thing is that when you run out of position, accept it, take it on the chin and play a good safety. Now that seems absolutely obvious, but so many players lose position through their own fault or not, but they lose position and then they're unable to accept it and just get down and haphazardly play safe. You don't do that. You take a moment to take a deep breath to get over the frustration and then play a good safety thereafter.
100%. And actually watching from the commentary box is more of, you know, a bird's eye view of the table. And what you've just said is so true because, you know, everything's a little bit more intense in the arena and sometimes you can't see it with perspective. And things always seem a lot worse in the arena when I'm watching and things don't seem so bad. I think that's helped with the mindset, the psychological side of the game.
Never thought we'd have time to have profound discussions in a match between these two, but this first frame has developed into quite a defensive model.
Yeah, and actually they're both playing some pretty good safety, aren't they? It's clever stuff at the minute from two players that clearly have got respect for one another.
Well, that's worked a treat. Not only has he got the red entirely safe, maybe even got the snooker, he's got the brown out into open play.
Yeah, and he's going to have to go very close to this green, I feel, if he's going to hit this red off the baulk cushion. Very slippy, these cushions.
Fall and a miss. Check Lisowski for.
So many reasons to have the ball split back here, not least because he wants the brown in the open. No, that's miles away. That is miles away.
It was miles out there.
Yeah, okay.
It's going to be a very precise replacement of the cue ball here because get this slightly incorrect and the whole characteristics of the shot could change.
Yeah, and I think even if he does make a slight adjustment, it might not be enough. He could catch the edge of this red and push it over the yellow pocket. Because of the slide. Well, he's caught enough of it, but he's going to stick it up. didn't seem like he could get past the green enough to get right in behind that red and send it back down the table.
Saw the angle to get the green off. What a shot that was. Okay, he might have sacrificed ideal position on his next colour, but he realised the green needed to be in the open.
Yeah, just good vision, really, and a good example of taking an opportunity when the balls provide it for you.
Never fully at home playing safe, Jack Lisowski, but I think his approach to this frame has been A1.
Well, I'm pretty sure he can get through to pot this yellow. And again, Jack Lisowski playing a percentage game. What are we seeing?
Something I like.
Me too, a lot. Again, just look at how slippy these cushions are, how wide that cue ball has come off at that pace.
Back here.
Easier job for our referee this time. Just the cue ball to be put back.
This is what a lot of, normal average club players don't really know or appreciate. If this cloth was well worn, he could hit the same spot on the cushion that way and maybe even hit the brown on its own spot. That's how the angle can change as the cloth wears, and that's all part of the job of a professional snooker player, to make those adjustments.
And this cloth has only been on for 3 days. They were reclothed on Sunday, the day of rest.
Yeah, good hit, but does Jack now just take the chance to dolly the 2 points in and play safe and try and win the battle on the green? Or is he going to try and get back out for the green with plenty of deep? Oh, hello. Hello. Oh, what a shot he's played there. What a pot he's played there.
He's actually put too much juice into the shot for his own good. That was just mesmerising. And what a horrible shot to play across the nap.
Yeah, but he's given himself a chance to win this frame now with that ridiculous pot on the yellow at that pace with that amount of side. He didn't like it.
Lisowski too.
He did not like it. Part of me thinks he wanted to play safe there. He was up and down. I don't think he could quite decide what to do.
Always do what you want to do, not what others want you to do or what you perceive others want you to do. So, Liam Highfield, 7 in front. Green, brown and blue needed.
Yeah, that's a lovely pot with the rest. Really well played.
7.
And so the world number 68 looks like bridging a gap of 51 places in the world rankings in this first frame. That was quite a tussle, but in the end, on the blue, Liam Highfield makes the better start. He wins the first frame. Jack Lisowski, he needs 2 of the last 3. So over on table 2, Aaron Hill is going to equalise against Luca Brissell, but Brissell's job is done in terms of winning the group. Obviously, he would like to win it with a maximum of 9 points.
84.
But his place as the group winner is unassailable. We've got plenty of nations represented in the last 32. England, China, Wales, Scotland, 89. Iran, Thailand, Ukraine, Hong Kong, Belgium, but no players from Ireland.
92.
Northern or the Republic.
Yeah, actually, we're slowly running out of players on the World Snooker Tour from Ireland, aren't we? Just Aaron Hill and Leon Crowley remain.
Yeah, that's with the retirement of our pal Ken Doherty.
What is it, 7 in the frame? Aaron Hill.
So 1-1. Yeah, Ken, the 1997 world champion. And in terms of ambassadors for the sport, certainly in the top 3 of all time for me.
Doesn't mind a day out to Wimbledon either, apparently. He gets everywhere, doesn't he, Ken?
Yeah, well, his son is a very, very good tennis player. Junior tennis player, so yeah, he knows all about that sport. Doherty, though, he's got that ability to make a connection with everyone he meets. He's got a great sense of humour. But when he was playing, wow. He was the epitome of serious. And he was seriously a great fighter, as he showed when he won the World Championship.
Yeah, I was a little too young to really appreciate Ken in his prime, unfortunately. But obviously I've watched lots of clips and videos of him over the years, and yeah, what a player. Great career, and I'm sure he'll continue to have a great career involved in the game, because as you say, he's good value, isn't he?
And what I love is the dynamic between Stephen Hendry and Ken, because, of course, it was Hendry who Doherty beat in the final, and he never lets him forget it.
Nor should he.
One of the quirks about that match, it was 18-12 to Doherty, and yet Hendry scored more points.
Just goes to show, the big breaks, the century breaks, they only win you 1 frame.
Well, they met in a UK Championship final many moons ago, and although Hendry prevailed and he made 7 centuries in the match, at one point he'd made 6 centuries and he was 6-5 up.
I rest my case, Your Honour.
So for Lisowski, it's not a case of having to win the last 3 frames. Just to reiterate, because of his superior frames difference over the course of the day, for him a draw will do. For Liam Highfield, it has to be a win. By the way, must apologise to Aaron Hill because we joined that break late. I didn't really realise just how big a break it was. The break he made to draw level with Luca Brazil was 107. And when he lost the first frame on the black, he made a 69 break in that.
Yeah, he was nicely in actually on that 69. He just broke down. Needed one more red. And they were there. They'd be devastated, won't he? Because he had to win that game 3-0, and it's been a very bright start. Looks at the score sheet. Looks impressive, but Luca managed to pinch the first one.
Pot some really good balls, Lisowski. Whenever he's at the table, you always think, even when it comes to what seems like the impossible, can be probable. But he loves to score, loves to be fluent, so he'll hate the fact that the black and indeed the pink at the moment are unavailable. Blue off its spot too.
Yeah, it might be wise to play the brown here, around 2 cushions. He might even play into black or red on the left side cushion just as a stopper, because he's guaranteed on the red at the bottom of the cluster. Playing it that way. Got close to it. Again, he made the brown look like it was over the pocket. Tough shot, that. Pace and side. Ooh, look at this for an effort.
10.
Well, it wasn't so much Jack Lisowski there. It was a bit of a jack in the box the way he struck that one. He was up immediately.
Terrific cue power.
12.
But of course, it was being right under a side cushion that cost him the previous frame when he missed that really tricky green to middle.
13. Black ball. Jack Lisowski, 13.
Feeling happier now that the black is back in the party. The match, as yet, not going the way I thought it would. More fragmentary than I imagined. Highfield playing hardball, and you can understand why. If you weren't with us earlier and you didn't hear this story, well, it's worth repeating. In the China Open qualifiers last month, he won his first 2 matches brilliantly, making a boatload of breaks. And then he was 5-0 up against Tom Ford in his 3rd qualifying match, 5-0 up, and lost 6-5 on the black. Then he was beaten in his first match in the Wuhan Open qualifiers by Gong Chenzi after leading 3-0 with a succession of big breaks. So he comes here badly in need of encouragement, and winning this group would provide it.
Well, it's a bit of a head scratcher, this, for Liam. How does he get the cue ball back to pretty much where it is now? That's where it's safe. Not sure he can, you know. He might have to try and crunch his way out of trouble. If he misses the red, there's every chance it will move the red away from the left corner, but try and knock it in, pot your way out. Great shot. Great shot.
1.
Just when you said his long game was gone, it finds its way back.
Yeah, just what I was thinking. And of course he was helped by the fact he could take the cue ball into bulk, as you would with a shot to nothing, and perhaps drop on the blue. Now, yeah, the blue is an easy pot, but the way he's hesitating here suggests the angle just isn't right.
I think he's got to play the blue. He's got to get that back on its spot, because if he doesn't, the frame's going to take some winning still. The red over the left corner is fine to get to. More angle than I thought.
Yeah, and me.
6.
Surprised he actually hesitated so much on that shot, because now with hindsight it was blindingly obvious.
Seven.
Well, every credit to Liam. He's making a good go of this break. And now he's got the opportunity to get that black back tidied up onto its own spot. Now, where does the next red come from? Has he an angle to disturb them? Or does the red pop to right corner? He went at him with pace, and a great shot he's played again. Really well played, that.
World number 68. He's striving to get into the top 64 by season's end. And winning this group, yes, it's very early season, we appreciate that, but winning this group would help in that regard, because even though he was ultimately beaten by Tom Ford in the China Open qualifiers, he did win 2 matches in that beforehand. So he's picked up handy points there, because the China Open is such a big tournament.
$28. 29.
Well, what a chance this is to extend his lead. Remember, Liam Highfield needs to win this match. What a perfect start it's been. I think he's controlled this game really well. He's certainly controlled his emotions. He's kept them intact. Looks calm and composed, doesn't he?
He looks a lot more stable and content than he was this afternoon when he was playing Jack Bradford, that's for sure.
$37.
One of those low-ranked players who all of the top guys treat with the utmost respect, because they know that he knows how to play.
Yeah, I was a little surprised, actually,
43.
when I was going over a few notes last evening. Liam Highfield, he's
44.
pretty much been on the tour unbroken, hasn't he, since 2010. He dropped off, but then got through the Q Tour playoffs before last season. Same way I did. His highest ranking is 39th. But he's a lot better player than he's shown, I think.
Undoubtedly. I said this right at the start today. I always say it when I commentate on him. He's been in a couple of ranking event quarterfinals in all those years.
And then it begs the question, why? Why has he not been able to unlock his full potential, perhaps? Because, as you so rightly say, Phil, all the players recognise Liam Highfield as, you know, a top player and a very dangerous player on his day. Perhaps it has been his temperament.
56.
It was frayed around the edges this afternoon in his middle match, but in this one, exemplary so far. Now, though, now's the tester,
Liam Highfield 56.
because that was frame ball.
Yeah, it was an anxious glance around to the scoreboard and that realisation of, oh no, what have I just done? But he's got to salvage a bit of hope in the fact that yellow's been pushed a little safer.
1.
Didn't play for the blue in the yellow pocket, but he will gladly accept it. And Lisowski is one of those inspirational players who can pull off the most sparkling of clearances. The clearance here would break Liam Highfield's heart.
6.
Well, he's kissed the black. Yes, the pink is still available, but positionally, how did he get on that last red? You don't get on it. You take your medicine.
Yeah, and had the cue ball have pulled up 6 inches, the double would have been screaming at Jack, but not sure it's on now. Too risky. Too much of a cutback.
Jack Lisowski, 13.
Even though he's behind in the match and indeed in this frame, this is a version of Lisowski I like. Playing safe, playing properly. It's 2-1 now to Luca Brissell over on table 2. So the Belgian will top that table undefeated.
Foul and miss. Jack Lisowski, 5.
Well, missing the red was bad enough. The side on the cue ball made it even worse. Apart from the yellow, they're all there for him.
And you could say he deserves a chance because the safety shot he played on the red was magnificent. Although that positional shot is something to question. That's a shocker. He could have landed that cue ball 3 feet towards this black spot and it'd have been perfect.
Yeah, and the word that we're going to use applies to Jack a little more often than he should do. That was just loose. Lack of concentration.
Black ball. Jack Lisowski, 1.
That was more like it, though. He's taken away the obvious cushions for Highfield to hit to escape. Well, he's thinking about the ambitious Masse.
Tell you what, Jack's played a pretty good shot there, hasn't he? It's not easy to get touching, or nearly touching, the top of the green from where he was. These cloths are so reactive. Fantastic shot. Oh, and that's a brilliant effort from Liam.
Jack Lisowski, 4.
Now then, Jack, are you going to get a better chance to pot this yellow? Probably not. So it's time to attack. Good shot.
Needs the lot. Everything's there.
How quickly these frames can turn. Liam Highfield missed that red to middle and it was all but 2-0.
Yeah, losing this frame could crush him because of that.
You can really tell how much he wants it, can't you? the way he's conducted himself this game, the way he's playing, making absolutely certain, look, he's not just got down and potted this blue and thought, I'm going to be on the pink. He's given it every bit of thought.
14.
Okay, he hasn't played it that well, but at least he gave it that thought. Wrong side of this pink. Now, do you run the risk of overhitting and missing the pink in trying to screw on and off this top cushion for the black? What a shot.
It's Jack Lisowski. It's Jack Lisowski.
Jack Lisowski 20.
All the hard work and then the black is missed. At least it's run safe. But I think Highfield's just delighted to get back to the table in any capacity.
Yeah, he's missed the black by a long way, hasn't he? The natural side you go on the cue ball there is right for that shot, and he's pushed the cue ball way too thick. Misjudged it completely. Oh, but Liam, what have you done? What have you done? You have to get that black ball safe.
And no mistake this time from Lisowski. The second attempt at the black was much more difficult than the first, but he knocked it in as though it was over the pocket. And so it is 1-1, and that means 2 frames left guaranteed, but Lisowski needs only one of them to top the table. Massive frame we've just seen. So the dying embers of the group on table 2. It's an academic frame.
18.
Luca Brecel is going to top the table. No ifs, buts or maybes. Will he do so with a maximum 9 points? Well, it's looking that way, Stephen.
19.
Yeah, I've kept an eye on this match, actually, and Aaron Hill, after that first frame, having lost it in the manner in which he did, he's just looking like he wants to get out of here, to be honest, and you can't blame him. The group was done.
24.
Been a disappointing day for Aaron, actually. His first match, he was poor, I thought. A player that is well on people's watch list in terms of progressing up the rankings and potentially getting to the latter stages of big tournaments in the coming seasons.
Yeah, definitely. Very early in his professional career, had a wonderful win over Ronnie O'Sullivan.
One.
Yeah, if you pardon the pun, it was always going to be a mountain to climb for Hill
6.
to beat Brecel 3-0 the way the Brecels played today. But the fault really didn't lie with this match. It
Aaron Hill 6.
was the case of a very slow start, as Stephen has told us. Jack Lisowski, no doubt, feeling very good after that black ball win in the second frame. What a dramatic frame it was. Now can Liam Highfield forget that 13th thread he missed to the middle pocket? He should have potted it all day. And that was frame ball. Should have been 2-0. In effect, it's 1-1, and now he's got to start all over again. But he can't afford to lose any more frames. from a neutral standpoint, you always want to see these groups go down to the very last match. Ideally, you'd like to see them go down to the very last frame. For that to happen, Highfield's got to win this one. Can confirm that Luca Brissell prevailed 3-1 against Aaron Hill, so 9 points out of 9 for the world champion, 3 years removed.
Well, not for the first time in this match that black has very early on in the frame found itself out of play. Part of the reason why this match, or at least the 2 frames we've had so far, have gone on probably a lot longer than most would expect between this pair.
Absolutely. I'm astonished, actually, by the length of the 2 frames. I can tell you this, if Lisowski wins this frame, the last frame won't be slow, because the second place will be wrapped up by Highfield. First place will be wrapped up by Lisowski, so it would be purely academic.
Well, there was a series of flicks there that I thought were going to result in Liam being perfect on the pink or the black. And actually, he's on neither.
Liam Highfield won.
By the way, the last frame of Brissell and Hill talk about scrappy. Final score 44-18. Sometimes you don't need to see a frame to know how scrappy it's been when you see a scoreline like that.
Well, that was a risky, dangerous safety shot that Liam could afford. Very little error had to be just right. If you're going to get that one wrong, it's usually catching the red too thick. And you head back to your seat wishing you'd have erred on the side of absolute caution, arguably made a case for missing the red completely the first time. So, first scoring chance in this third frame for the jackpot. What can he do with it?
Seven. Eight. Thirteen. 14.
There's something about Bet Victor-sponsored tournaments he likes. We've talked about the win in the Northern Ireland Open late last year. Well, that opened the doors to winning the Bet Victor bonus for the Home Nation Series as a whole.
20.
He did that by making the finals of the Welsh Open earlier this year. £150,000 went his way because of that.
Yeah, and I think it's a contributing factor as to why he's not, right now, a multiple ranking event champion. Because he won it in the semi-finals, didn't he? And he looked completely flat in that first session against Hawkins in the final. Not saying he would have beat Barry, because Barry is one of the toughest players we've got on the tour, but he'd have definitely played better than he did.
Yeah, because he beat John Higgins in the semi-final to land the bonus, and that was an absolutely cracking match.
Got the trophy and everything, didn't he, for the bonus that night? Check for 150. Not a bad day at the office.
29.
Yeah, that Home Nations Bet Victor bonus goes to the player who accumulates most ranking points in the 4 Home Nations events: Northern Ireland, Wales, Scotland and England. The first of those will be the English Open this season in early September.
Yeah, good shot.
30.
Initially, he didn't want to play that red. He wanted to play the easier one of the two, but playing the more difficult pot offered nicer positional aspect. Perfectly controlled.
And here, he needs to be perfectly controlled himself. Don't go too quick.
Again, got the chance to just play a little brush cannon to the red left of the black, just like that.
38.
Nudge that away. Perfectly played. This has been a lovely break so far. Beautiful touch in such tight areas. Well, what could have been for Liam Highfield. Penny for his thoughts
54.
on that missed red in the previous frame to middle pocket. Frame ball red.
Yeah, it's been a good day for him. It could have been a great day.
61.
But a very classy way to wrap things up, this. out of position now, but he's 68 in front with 59 on.
Check Lisowski 69.
Liam Highfield feels obligated to continue, but he's kicking against the wind. And now he concedes.
Yeah.
And so Jack Lisowski takes a 2-1 lead, and that is enough for him to win the group, regardless of what happens in the last frame of the contest. A draw for Liam Highfield simply is not enough. And to get over the line, Stephen, that was a really well-compiled break.
It really was. You know, the safety came about, or sorry, the chance came about from a good safety that Jack played, which forced Liam into playing a safety that could very easily go wrong. It did go wrong, and the rest was just majestic from Lisowski as the two players converse over probably the situation of the table.
Well, when Ali Carter was in this kind of position on Saturday, he said, do we need to play the last frame? And the referee said, yes, you do. Of course, he played it in a very exhibition kind of style, and I think we might see a repeat of that here. To be frank, I'd be shocked if we didn't. Although, in this Bet-Victor Championship League, we've seen a lot of frames that have been academic. Dead frames, if you like, in which both players have taken them very seriously indeed.
Yeah, I just get the impression from the body language from Liam that that's not how this frame's going to be played. Hold on to your hats.
Let out a groan when he realised he hadn't fluked one. Take the weight off, Liam.
Jack's going to play at about 5 seconds a shot here. Our referee needs to be hot on his heels. On your toes, son.
Good practice, this, for getting a slot on big break. Speed snooker.
Things you love to see, eh, Phil?
16. 17. 19.
I think no matter how fast he plays, it won't be the fastest ever frame. 3 minutes it was. Tony Drago against Danny Fowler. Fowler broke off. Drago made 70-odd.
27.
Those sort of stats, they sound impossible when you say them now, don't they? And even the 5-minute maximum from Ronnie, that cannot be beaten. It's impossible. And I think part of the reason for that now is the referees don't move quick enough.
O'Sullivan's 147 will remain in the record books
36.
forevermore, as Lisowski's really annoyed by not getting on the black. No matter.
33.
You look back at those old clips of those guys playing at that speed, and the old school refs, they're pretty much stood over the pocket that the ball's being potted into, aren't they? It's all too professional now, Phil.
Well, we're talking about Drago, fastest ever
51.
frame. Regularly, when he turned to pool, he was winning racks in under a minute.
52.
Regularly. This has been brilliant, though. Absolutely brilliant from Lisowski.
Look at the ref.
57.
Oh, he's doing a great job keeping up here, especially in this heat. Just goes to show what the lads can do when the pressure is off.
64. 65.
Come on, make a century. This would be
72.
sensational at this speed.
73. 79.
If it's only it was this quick all day.
There'd be a long time between sessions.
What a break this has been. Oh, how good is this to watch? Get in. Come on, get in.
7. Friend of the match, Jack Lisowski.
That was preposterous. Just racing around the table like a sprinter and then incorporating all the skill of a world-class snooker player, which he is. Jack Lisowski finishing off the day in very memorable fashion. He defeats Liam Highfield by 3 frames to 1. And of course, he tops Group 7, having dropped only 1 frame all day. And so Lisowski advances to Group G in the second phase to take on Zhang Anda, Jimmy Robertson and Kai Wei Chung. Confirmation, Lisowski, 9 points. Liam Highfield played well, I thought, at times, to get 6 points in second place. Zhao Han Yang, he finished in third, and so he grabbed a grand. The amateur Q-School top-up, Jack Bradford, only won a frame all day, and he ended up with 0 points and no money. As for the Group 31 leaderboard, well, Luca Russell, 9 points out of 9. Aaron Hill just about sneaked into second place, the top seed in the group, because of a slightly better frame difference over Mitchell Mann and Deng Haowei. Mann was third because he won their head-to-head. The head-to-head against Deng, and the young Chinese player, well, he's gained a lot of experience, let's put it that way. So 2 very attacking, entertaining players are through to the next phase as a result of today's 2 groups, Luca Russell and Jack Lisowski. And I believe Jack is down outside our commentary box having a chat with David Hendon.
Well, Jack, it's been a long day. It's been a hot day, but for you, it's been a good day, right?
Yeah, it's great to get through. Obviously, only 4 people in the group. It's very tough. You've got to win it. So, yeah, it was looking dodgy then. It's looking like I was going to go 2-0 down. And obviously, Liam just would have needed 1 more frame then. So, yeah, got away with it at the end. But, hey, that's snooker. It's been a good day.
You're 17th in the rankings. This is a ranking event. Obviously, to get back in the top 16 is big, isn't it? You know, you avoid qualifying. It's a chance for the Masters, all the rest of it. So the points earned here could be really important.
Yeah, that's why I'm in it, you know. It's a chance to try and catch up on 16. So I've done the first part. I can go home now.
And finally, we were also delighted for you last year when you won in Belfast. Do you feel different now as a player after that?
Yeah, for sure. I feel more relaxed, and you know, that weight on my shoulders has definitely come off, and I didn't realise what a burden it was, I guess. So, but it's not like I've completed snooker. You know, I've got so much more to try and achieve personally. But yeah, I wake up and it's really, really nice not to have it there in the back of my mind. But yeah, got to try and get more now. Can't stop at 1. But yeah, hey, at least the monkey's off the back.
Brilliant.